kind of worked out like better like that because he would have been on like the 20.
Neil Jackson in the house.
Hey.
What's up?
Here we go. One last check for everybody on the video camera watching this.
A little behind the scenes for you.
A little behind the scenes. Do I sound okay? Everybody can hear me?
Sound good to me.
Coming right in.
Not as good as Neil's voice, but I mean,
he's got a sultry
voice.
He's
got that voice. All right, give me 5 seconds and let's roll.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me.
And I'll gladly stand up next to you.
And defenders till today.
That was great on the cymbal, right? You came in on the right.
And I came in prematurely, but I had to run. I had to run with it. I knew what you were doing, though.
You usually come prematurely, so we've come to just roll with it.
You just gotta go with it, man. You gotta own it.
You do gotta
own it and make good of it.
I could not wait for you to come on the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Jackson with us from Southern Heartburn and from all around being awesome. Drummer extraordinaire.
Please, Travis, no more. Okay. The introduction is...
Them 8s and above are going to start hopping in his inbox if we keep it up.
Remember that Hinder song, Lips of an Angel? Well, this is a voice of an angel right here we're listening to right now. Neil, how are you, bud?
Nice. Oh, man. Oh, it's good to be back with you guys here for number 30.
Number 30, the big 3-0.
Yeah, the 30.
Congratulations.
Fate had its way because before this, we were, it was like episode 24 we were trying to get you in, and we had all these technical difficulties where
brand new system,
we just kept running into a wall and couldn't get it set up, So thankfully, thank the universe, whatever, we got it going, and we're here now on episode 30. You were on 10, so you just keep meeting us at the 10 intervals.
Yeah, no kidding.
Glad I got that right.
That was good.
Intervals.
Yes, but what's going on, man? What's going on in Neil's world right now?
Oh, let's see. My daughter just turned 1.
Oh, nice.
So there was a huge that was a bigger ordeal than I ever imagined. Like
for sure.
What the ladies do for a first birthday party, it just it blew my mind how far out they go to make that a special.
Oh yeah,
thing.
It's a big thing for the ladies. It's cool to us too.
It was fun.
With the ladies though, like the mamas, it's a big ordeal for them. Then I think
they get off big time on that.
Oh yeah, they love it.
Did you do the smash cake?
Absolutely.
Did she get into it?
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. She smashed more than any of our nieces or nephews,
right.
And that's the only thing I had to compare it to. So I was like, yeah, she won.
Just good deal.
Yeah, my kids would never get into it. They would touch it, and they're like, not about it. I was like, God, I want to smash that to my face so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got boys, so when it was time for them, they were getting into it before we actually wanted them to. Before we could even see
wow.
them. Yeah, they were just going.
Didn't
got a
wait.
taste of it. We got a lady that makes cakes to make the cake, and she makes really good cakes. So it's once you get a taste. It's good.
Are you like her agent or something? You're trying to sell us on these baked goods.
I can't put her name out there. That's the thing. So no, I'm not.
The no-name baker. She's like the Banksy of baked goods.
Yes, sir. That's right. Unseen. She's the elitist of cake baking. You just don't see them.
So I know you're coming straight back from Mississippi. Concert over there.
Oh yes.
Who'd you go see?
I went and saw Widespread Panic over there in Brandon, Mississippi, at the brand new Brandon Amphitheater.
Okay.
I did not realize it was there until I saw the tickets go for sale for this show, or for these 2 shows. But I suppose they've had a few shows there. It looked like it was right off the assembly line though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't know God bless them. They were great. It was such a small town, and I don't think they realized what was they were worried about, oh God, it might get, things might get a little crazy over here, with this group coming in. But so Friday was a little shaky, but by the end of Saturday, everything was straight.
Yeah.
It was a good time, a good experience. The Uber ride over there was almost 30 minutes though. So, like Brandon is in the sticks of Mississippi, so we were in a place called Goshen Springs. That was really the sticks.
How weird.
Ocean Springs, I've been by Ocean Springs, so I know what you're talking about. Y'all played, or you just went to the, was it a festival?
No, this was Goshen Springs.
No, it's widespread panic.
Widespread, okay, I'm unfamiliar.
Are you?
Yes, enlighten me.
Okay, well, let me just do a brief rundown. Okay, so they're like, you know, of the Grateful Dead and their history.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so they're kind of like the claim to fame when it comes to a touring act that has a following that follows them and kind of has their own group. It's groupies, but it's like it's all these. It's like a community of its own, like a community of followers.
Like a cult fan base.
Yes, exactly.
They're called Deadheads, right?
Deadheads. And so people call, like, Panic was coming up in the early 90s. And I actually saw my first show in Pensacola at the Bay. What was the one that got blown away? Was the Bay Center? Or no, the Bay Center is what's there now.
The Civic Center
used to be the Civic Center now.
Was the Bay Center?
Bay Center.
It got blown away. I'm trying to think of
What venue was that, guys?
It got like blown away by a hurricane, or
yeah, I think it was during Ivan that it was gone.
That's
Was it some
the Bayfront Auditorium.
Okay.
Bayfront Auditorium. It was like there was one set of rafters, and then it was like a basketball floor.
Was it by where the Blue Wahoos are right now? Was it over there?
Could have been.
I feel like I've heard that before, but that was Hurricane Ivan era was a little bit before my time to be out that way. So
I think that was when I think that's when they shut it down. But they may have stopped doing shows there before.
Yeah.
Then
Well, I know there's like a little platform deal they got over there behind it, where I've actually done this show, like this June festival thing, like years back.
That's still there. They built that when they built this.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the Maritime Amphitheater.
Okay, see, that's what I'm thinking about then. I don't know what I was thinking. Ain't it called like Bayfront?
I think Bayfront is over there by like the bridge going to the beach, or the 3 Mile Bridge, right?
Okay.
I know that's where Bayfront is, but I don't know about the
auditorium.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it looked like an old high school auditorium, basically, and they were using it as a venue back in the 90s for all kinds of like mid-level rock that was going on. So that was my first time seeing them. I had no fucking clue what was going on. I was like a babe in the woods.
Right.
And now, you know, all these years later, and you know, definitely over 100 times seeing them. I'm not sure my actual count. I used to keep stubs, and then things went digital, and you know, I've gone back to the stubs now, but I've just seen that band. That's not the only band I see, but it's definitely the band I most want to see, and I see them as much as I can.
Wow.
Really good show. Like, just put on a great show.
Great show, and not the same show. They do runs, like 2-night runs, 3-night runs, and you don't see the same song. You see a different show each night.
Now, would you say that's your favorite band, probably?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. What is it about them that sticks out?
I think that their community was something that I'd never seen when I first started going as a young buck, and I think I needed somewhere that I felt accepted or felt like these were my kind of people. And it wasn't just that band. There were several bands, and people going to see, you know, Fish, and up north it was Fish, and then Panic was kind of down south, and it was like both of those bands took the torch in a way from the Dead when Garcia passed away. And they both have like these cult followings that are their own communities. And, you know, we've got people make t-shirts, people make food, you can just go out and have a good time, even not inside the show.
Isn't it crazy that like music can do that? Like it pulls like just the music can pull a certain energy of people together that are all collectively alike, and it just attracts more alike things.
Yes.
And it all comes from music, just the style of music, whatever attracts all these similar people that we would never know each other if we never heard this song and got here. But look, we're a lot alike in many ways, and it's all just from music. That cult following, man. There's certain artists and bands that have that.
Right.
And some don't. Some just got like a couple songs people like. But then you get the ones that have the the cult following that's gonna, a good few are gonna follow them on their shows. And there's a lot of fans that will chase like bands down across the country.
This is one of those bands.
Yeah. If you had the ability, you'd probably be. Did you ever chase their bands? Like, what do they call that?
Just going on tour. Just like I'm going on tour. I'm going on Panic tour. That's what you would say.
As a fan, you consider yourself on the tour because you're going to as much shows as you can, all around the country.
Yeah, I wish I was going out west to see them. I feel like if I was going out west and then going down south in Florida, which I won't be going out west to Red Rocks to see them, which is a legendary venue. They sell it out. They've sold it out more times than any other band in history.
Wow.
Like something like 17 years straight, 3 shows each year, and so they have a huge following out there too. And just to watch the band grow over the years has been fun. I haven't seen as many shows as I would have liked to. There was probably a period during that time, like during my late 20s, that I didn't see a lot of them, and I kind of fell out of the loop. But coming back in and getting to reacquaint myself with the music and to watch them grow and play new songs and write new material and really stay into it, and them not having a #1 hit or being a top 40 band or whatever, they're like they reminded me that I could do music. That's what this band really did for me. Like, they're out there, they look like me, they're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, they're not putting on this facade, and they're not like being something they're not. They're consistently creative, and creating on the spot up there. Improv, live improv.
You see the human in them still.
Yes.
That you relate to. It's like something tangible. Like,
yeah,
I feel you on that. There's a lot of artists that you looked up to that were like,
and that shit will pull on your heartstrings.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like I feel for them. If something were to happen to one of those guys, it would break me down.
Right.
Yeah, it would hurt.
No doubt.
It would hurt. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a chance to meet any of those guys?
I haven't yet. Well, I'm sorry, their current drummer, Dwayne Trucks. I got to hang out with him after they played Pensacola Sanger Theater in 2016. He was hanging out at the after show, which was at where Chizuko is now.
Okay.
In that little bar that's right beside it.
Yeah.
We hung out in there for a couple of hours after the show, and I got to speak with him briefly. And but he's the newest member. He's the young guy, the new guy.
Yeah.
And he's been with them a couple years now, and it was cool to talk to him. But the bass player is my favorite musician, one of my favorite musicians of all time. And I snapped or storied some of the show from Saturday, and Tuesday night I saw that he had reposted that on his story.
Oh, cool.
And it
really?
popped up in my DMs.
He got a hold of it.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And out of, God knows how many thousands of people are storying that,
Yeah, and that's cool, man. That's just the universe working. Bro.
It was. I was on cloud. I've been on cloud 9 all week. Like, and usually I'm like, oh, fuck all that. That's a bunch of bullshit. And then somebody did something like that on mine, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy in this day and age. Like, that's like people, social media is bad, whatever. But we've never been able to connect with our favorite actors or musicians or comedians, anything, the way we can now. Like, you're actually interacting with them. If they retweet you, they seen what you wrote. Like, it's kind of just a cool time for like famous people to be able to connect with their fans.
Right.
It's a pretty cool deal. But yeah, that's dope that they got your thing, your video.
It's kind of odd for your favorite musician of the band to be the bass player. I bet that's kind of special for him too, because you would think like the lead singer or something like that, something more traditional.
And I do have, I got huge love for all those cats, and the lead singer is like, to me, he's like one of the closest things to a preacher or a guru or a shaman that I know of. It's just he's got a beautiful aura, and he's putting out this incredible energy that I feel like really brings the people together. Like Jay was saying, like that thing that tugs everybody in the same direction. But yeah, the bass player, David A. Schools, he's been my dog since the beginning. Like, he pulls you in with that bass. He plays a 5-string or 6-string. I'm not sure, is it 5 or 6? Anyway, he's got a lot of fucking notes on that thing. and he works that bitch over. I mean, like a bear up there wrestling that thing, and you're just like, your body is rumbling, you know. And I'll just hone in on that and kind of just take that trip.
Yeah. Especially with as in tune with music as you actually are, it just probably captures you like, wow, look what the fuck he's doing right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like music's kind of like a spiritual event for you. Would you say so?
Oh yeah, it is. I didn't know what kind of words to put on it when I was younger, but yeah, I think that's as close. I think that's the best thing you can say, is it makes me feel like a kid again and gets me in touch with my true nature, what's down below.
Is it hard to find people like I can relate to that in a sense, like when you find somebody that you know gets music, like you get it, you get fucking excited.
Yeah.
Like, because it's kind of rare when you meet somebody that's like, you know, when I get in the car, like 9 times out of 10, I'd rather have the music on than hear anything anybody's talking about. You know, and that's no disrespect to anybody in the car with me. It's just that I fucking love music that much. Yeah.
Yeah. And riding in a car, it seems like that kind of time where you can take a break to listen to something like that. I'm like, turn it up. That's usually me too. Just turn it up.
You can really listen and just catch hold of everything that's going on in that song when you're in the car.
Were you a young person whenever you discovered, like how young were you whenever you discovered that like music had that pull on you? You know, when you were a little kid?
Yeah, probably 3 or 4, because I know I was like performing and trying to perform in front of my parents and stuff like that early, and beat on stuff. And but the first like song I remember hearing where it was like I felt emotionally moved, I was probably, that I can think of, I was probably like 6 or 7, and it was We Built This City on Rock and Roll.
Oh, really?
By like Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I ever remember like feeling like, oh my God, there's something in there.
Yeah.
You know, just something as, just some kind of cheesy pop song, you know, and then, but you feel whatever's in there, you know,
right,
in music that makes it special.
I don't know, that seems like
Sorry,
too low now.
sorry, I'm just catching myself. Go ahead.
Jay's just trying to tinker with these mics.
Something
On the fly.
Something I probably shouldn't be doing, but I am noticing myself right now.
Yeah.
My mic's
That sounds good right there.
So yeah, forgive me if I try to keep talking, but I do understand how that can be distracting. I'm just trying to think forward.
I felt like you were trying to like mix a track right now, because it was like going to low and high.
I'm sorry.
Low and high.
I know. Sorry if y'all heard that. I'm just trying to get.
And I saw you like.
Y'all sound great right now on my headphones, and I am noticing. It sounds a little bit better now. Does it sound better?
It sounds
now?
way better now.
Yeah, I could. I
It's almost like you stopped messing with it, and all of a sudden it started working.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
We'll just put it that way. We'll put it like that. I am nowhere near a professional with this shit.
So Jay, you as a fellow musician, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
did the same similar situation whenever you were young? Did the music just grab a hold of you like
Yeah,
that?
for sure. Like,
I hate to say that
music.
music is your church in a sense, but
It's
you
a good-
understand what I mean by
It's a
that?
good way to put it. It is. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the gospel for me. Like, it speaks to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, might not find what's going on with me in my life and anybody else, but I can find it in a song, and I connect, and like I can. You almost know the musician because you know when you're on that level with them, with whatever they wrote that song about. You're like, fuck, I fucking been there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we're both been in that room before. You know, you just feel connected. But yeah, when I was a child, like, I used to like, I won't want to say poetry, but I used to just write stuff before I even knew what a beat was or really what hip hop was. I didn't get introduced to hip hop until I was like a 10 or 11.
Right.
Yeah, the AT Aliens, Outkast. That was the first album I ever heard. And right then and there, I was like,
Nice.
oh yeah, classic for me. But just because a lot of people wouldn't put that up there, they put I can't even think of the other album. Quinius, whatever that, and then there's a speaker.
Speaker box.
Speaker box.
Below.
Yeah, a lot of people put a lot of them up there. But anyways, yeah, it was just like how when I used to write words to get shit out of me that made me feel better, and then eventually I found this thing, hip hop, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like this.
There's
is it.
my vehicle.
That's it. Let's hop in.
Right.
Let's not get out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
Congrats on the EP coming up, man.
Thanks, dude. Well, we gotta see.
Fucking excited for
There's
it.
no-
I mean, we'll see if it's a congratulational EP. Like, I'm just super critical.
I know
of
you
myself,
are.
man. I'm just like,
And we all kind of are, but
Yeah.
you should just celebrate it.
you're right. I mean, I am loving getting back into the whole, like, this podcast helps me a lot. Like, me and him doing this together and picking the pen back up to write music and stuff it just makes me feel like me, you know what I'm saying? For a long time, I put that shit up, you know, and I was like, I gotta get it for the fam, you know, I gotta get this job, and I gotta get straight on this, and I gotta do this and do that, and it just, me, when I'm like, for me to do music, I enjoyed music the whole time, like, I'll never stop enjoying music, but for me to do music, I have to whole-ass it. Like, there's no half-ass in it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I said that backwards. Didn't make sense. But
100%.
yeah,
110.
I have to be like, I can't just do it one day and then not care. Like, I beat myself up so much when like I quit something that it's just like I won't pick it back up if there's a chance that I feel like I'm gonna quit again. So for me to pick it back up right now, I just feel like I'm not going out on a limb, but I walked away one time before, you know, and that shit hurts. So.
Well, I gotta think if the music's got that much stock in you, you know, if it's got that big of a pull, then it's literally a part of you.
Yeah.
And you can't just put that down and just walk away from
It's
part of
right.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that make them listen is just a name, but it's also a part of you.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
something I created that
Right.
I seen in myself or something. I really don't know. It's just yeah, you're right. It just don't let you go. Like, for the longest time, I suppressed it. I felt like I got, you know, depressed and the whole fucking nine, you know, and just realized, like, dude, my biggest problem was I was so dead set on, like, with hip hop, so competitive, you know, like, wanting to be the best or wanting to make it, you know. It's like, I really put those demons to rest now, and it's like, yo, I'm just gonna make music because I want to make music.
Yes.
And whoever feels it, and whoever doesn't. I'm not walking around with that weight on my shoulder.
Preach.
Just want to write, put good music out if I have the capability to do so.
Yeah.
Which Nick can relate on that, I guess, you know.
Again with the Nick.
Nick, I said
I got it this weekend too,
I said
Travis.
Nate this time.
Some of the new people I met,
Yeah.
they nicked me right off the bat. I was like, I'll go with Nick.
Does he look like a Nick?
No, he looks like
Why?
a Nick all day.
Why
to
do
me.
I do Nick? I'm sorry.
But in three different places, people that I know call me Nick on a regular because they say I look like a Nick to them.
I wonder if you have like, some like I'm trying to think of a famous
Was I
Nick.
a Nick in a former life?
Yeah.
Nick Nolte, hopefully not.
No, definitely not.
I honestly don't know. I don't, like, if you was to tell me when we first met and you said Nick, I would be like, okay, his name's Nick. I honestly don't know why I'll say Nick. Like, I know his fucking name's Neil. We talk about it.
One of the
Talk about-
demons or angels that surround you must be named Nick.
You must have something on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Could be.
Being like, his name's Nick, bitch. Don't Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to ask you something, Travis, on the
Sure.
on that level of a spiritual connection or something that makes you feel your childlike wonder,
Mhm.
if you will, again, would it be that I know that some people do find that in comedy? Is it that deep for you in that realm as well?
Definitely not.
Okay.
You know, it's actually what I was sitting over here trying to think about whenever you guys were talking about that. I was like, what is it in me that pulls that out? And I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. Some of the funnest times I've ever had is to a song. You know, if like there's just something, there's a mood in the air, and a song comes on, and it's just like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know I know Jay is big on these vibrations and stuff, and it
Yeah.
could be, you know, you connecting to that in some kind of way, and it's just perfect. You're just in rhythm with everything.
Yeah.
But I just don't have that. I don't have that love like that for one particular thing. I could lock in on, I guess. Is
Yeah.
what I was
I
trying to
think
say.
comedy is just.
Where's the light at in here, Jay? It's getting like so dark and
I'll
intimate.
turn it on just a second. But I think like with you it's like comedy might not be what like just you yearn for,
Mhm.
but it seems like it's part of your character. Like everybody, when I've been around you, there's been people walk up to you and wonder why are you doing comedy right now? Like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like I just think
I
it's
do
part
enjoy
of
making
you.
people laugh.
Yeah, and I think it's just a part of you. I don't
Yeah.
think you have to be like we are about music, because music's just like something, like you don't honestly go listen to comedy on tape in the car. You might listen to an XM radio or a podcast or whatever, but like I think with comedy, I think it's just a part of your character, and then whoop, there's an avenue to exercise that part of me.
Yeah.
So
Could be.
I feel like that might be it, but you definitely are like a comedian to me, and a lot of people.
And I think the word comedian too is like not somebody who is telling jokes on a stage.
You don't think it's a sufficient term?
Not really. Not really. You know, I mean, I guess a comedian could be like a job title.
Okay.
But I mean, like, you're a really funny guy. Jay's a real funny guy. Like, but I wouldn't say you guys are comedians.
No.
But
But you can get material from watching
you know what I mean?
watching people that are just they don't even know what they're doing.
I think somebody being a comedian, if I keep using that word, is just seeing the abnormal in the ordinary. You know what I mean? Just
That's a good
making
way to
you
put it right there.
making you look at something different than like everybody would see this brick wall that we're looking at right now, and a comic though could find something funny about it.
A different angle.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Two of my favorites I wanted to bring up to you to see if y'all have any comments when I mention these two. But these are just two, I'm sure, of many more that I'm not trying to leave out, but just that I've listened to lately. Bill Hicks
Mm-hmm.
and
Sam Kinison?
Mitch Hedberg.
Yes.
That's is it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
We're on that fucking
thank you,
lane,
man.
bro.
Thank you.
That's
Jay's gonna finish my sentences, y'all.
Y'all are linked
It's
up
Nick.
tonight.
Yes.
It's Nick.
Yeah.
Nick Napoleon. No, Mitch Hedberg is actually my favorite comic of all time.
Awesome.
Mine
Yeah.
too. Mine too.
And it's for exactly what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought about him when you said that. That's
Yeah.
what brought it to mind.
Well, he's got the greatest joke of all time to me. He says, I love escalators because they never can break, only become stairs.
Yeah.
The maintenance guy would just walk up and put a sign on it that said, "Sorry for the convenience."
He's a genius.
You would never in a million years riding escalators all through JCPenney and the mall and stuff.
Yeah.
But how often would you think about that? Never.
That's just somebody that walks.
Now I
around
can't not think about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's the genius of Mitch Hedberg. Like you said, a comedian can find something in like everyday life that we all experience and all share together, but he can make humor out of that such a relatable topic.
Right.
Like, I feel like Mitch Hedberg was just that times 10. He could grab like you're saying with the excavator, like you would never. I said excavator. Escalator, but like you would never think.
He's out there
You would
chewing up
maybe there's
baby
an
bears and
excavator,
ground nesting birds.
But nobody would think about that until the obvious was pointed out. And I
Yeah.
feel like Mitch Hedberg just, in a way, bars. You know, like hip hop has
Yeah,
bars. Like
yeah.
he has like this metaphorical gift about him that
Mhm.
can make ordinary so extravagant but obvious. That's what Mitch Hedberg. He's my favorite.
And to tie it into the music even aspect is he's got this rhythm.
Oh, it totally was.
It's
in
like
a
jazz
rhythm.
almost.
Yeah. Didn't he have some jazz behind him, like
There's
once or
He's
twice?
got a comedy album. I would think I was telling this to you the other day, where he's got a guy playing an upright bass for his whole special.
Yes, I've seen that one.
And he would say, "Joe, as the laughs go down, pick the bass up."
Yeah.
But man, he's one of those guys that it only works if you're Mitch Hedberg.
Mm-hmm.
If I got up there and told a whole hour of Mitch Hedberg jokes, they wouldn't get the same response. You know what I mean? You got to be that guy, that cadence, that rhythm. It's got to be all those things, you know.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And to go back to Bill Hicks, I know that's like high up, like almost like if you're a stand-up comic, Bill Hicks has got to be in your top 5, right?
Seems
But-
like it.
It's weird for me to say that I don't like him,
Yeah.
only because I'm so young. I didn't grow up in that era, so to me, like this stuff just doesn't hold up to me. But I can't say that he wasn't good because I didn't grow up whenever that stuff wasn't flying. You know what I mean?
Would you say it's the content then that it's because it's irrelevant to you?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So that's
I
why
can see
I
that.
know Jay actually has opened my eyes on this with the whole, because I used to, I'm still pretty negative, I ain't gonna lie. Like I say, stuff's terrible most of the time. Like they always joke about me being this rain cloud. But,
No.
so, and I've tried to take his advice on stop saying stuff sucks and start looking at it as it's not made for me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, you could love Bill Hicks, and I could not care for him. It just wasn't made for me. It was made for you.
Right.
And that's okay. So I've really tried to...
Doesn't make it trash.
Right.
So,
I don't believe in trash. I just believe in you just got to find your own trash, I guess. You know?
gotta be you gotta be your trash.
You got to be the trash man.
Yeah. But like, okay, I'm ignorant when it comes to Bill Hicks in most comedy. Okay, so what is it he did? He pushed boundaries? Because I noticed when you said
Yeah.
he wasn't, I didn't know stuff was, again, I wasn't around when that stuff was pressing the buttons.
Right.
Is that so?
He'd
Like,
push the button. He would get up there and make audiences think, and it was very like back then, like comedy was more like real plain, real
PG.
vanilla,
kids could hear.
kind of like Seinfeld-y stuff.
Yeah.
But everybody was like that.
Like you could
Bill
watch
would be up there and be like, say.
He was kind of like
Push,
a
you know,
Carlin in a way,
right.
but with drugs.
Right.
Had sprinkled drugs in there. I love the bit about the music. Go throw away all your albums if you don't believe drugs should be legal, because every song that you love, those guys were totally fucked up with drugs.
Right.
That's another topic in itself. Like a lot of the greats, now maybe not every single one, but a good majority of the greats had drug issues. Like, do you feel like drugs, yeah, they have negative side effects just as if you drank way too much water.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't on the moderate side, which is more sensible, but they were extreme with it. Do you feel like drugs open something up that a lot of people can't access sober or even moderately using drugs? Because a lot of them, like, the Kurt Cobains and I guess the Bill Russells and Mitch Hedberg.
Bill Russell.
Not Bill Russell.
Bill Hicks.
Garcia.
No, we were just talking Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And of course the famous Boston Celtic, Bill Russell.
But like,
won 10 championships, all in
high as
Maryland.
fuck.
Bill Walton.
There you go. But yeah, like Mitch Hedberg, he was like, he OD'd, that's how he died. Like,
Right.
Do you credit a lot to maybe not necessarily them always being the genius, but having the substance that access the part of their brain that maybe not all of us have, and they wouldn't access without the drugs? It's kind of a loaded question, but
Yeah, I don't have. I think it's possible.
yeah.
I think it's definitely possible. I don't think that drugs work for everybody in the same way.
Yeah.
So anything's possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe not all of us are, the drugs affect us the same. And even like say if I took that much, like Mitch Hedberg was probably high as fuck in a lot of those of those
Definitely.
jokes he was writing when he was in the writing process. Which a lot of times if you're fucked up or if you've ever been stoned, you will think obvious things like that you wouldn't think of sober.
Yeah.
But like maybe if I was to do the heroin or whatever, it would just fuck me up and be over nodding out. When Mitch Hedberg was doing it, he was tapping into something. Like, do we owe drugs a lot of credit for the greatness we see today? Like, a little bit? Would you say?
Man, I would say, well, I think you'd have to look at it probably this way. Would the world be the same if drugs weren't around?
Exactly.
And I think the answer to that is no.
No.
I think it's definitely a culture that's influenced by because drugs get a lot of negative stigmatism because of people dying on them and stuff.
Yeah.
But they really do break down your ego and allow you to be introspective and connect to people that way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily heroin. I think that we have to have education and split drugs up the way that they are, because they're not all the same.
No.
That's the old school thought process, it seems, is let's just burn it all.
Let's try to stomp it out until it
Stomp it
disappears.
all,
And then
okay.
yeah, because
Right.
that's the argument for people making, like, I remember California was going to pass this thing where they were having not, bad language, I guess, for it, there's probably better terminology, but like having spots where guys or people can go shoot up,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, taken care of, and there was people like
doctors and
like, that's a lot of it. When people say legalize it, if you're thinking forwardly in that aspect, it makes sense. But there's so many people still now like, don't fucking legalize it. That's how you have so many more drug addicts. But really, you probably recover a lot more because the education's there, being sanitary is there, somebody making sure they don't die.
Yes.
Most people
you wouldn't have as many deaths for sure.
Exactly. Like, so I'm kind of more on the side of legalize everything, and let's really pay attention to what's going on here instead of like, oh, you're a bad person.
Right. There should be way more education and way more mental health work.
Yeah.
Like, if those two things could come up and we could start showing some value to those positions and the people that can do that stuff, that's healing work.
Yeah.
Right.
And people deserve a place to try to heal, I think, if you're out there doing stuff. And that's a nasty one too, the heroin.
Oh yeah.
You think about Hedberg, he almost lost his leg. He had 13-hour surgery. Right, this wasn't long before he died.
Right.
And then he covered for 6 months, and then he went back on the road, and that was when he OD'd.
Yeah.
So you think about how strong that pull is to almost lose your leg.
Yeah.
You just had a brush. I mean, and this was self-inflicted, and this guy goes back out there and is like on the bus ready to score again. I mean, that's a driving addiction. I think that the creative the creative output that you're going to have when you're that far into the addiction, I think it's already taken over the creative side of you.
Like, you're to the point where you need some real help, and it ain't coming from yourself to get out of that. Like, who's to say if we had legalized them back then and had what we're talking about, we'd probably still have Mitch Hedberg.
Right.
Maybe it wouldn't be as funny because I feel like the drugs do play a part in the genius. Like me, when I quit writing, I quit smoking weed, and I used to smoke and write music, and I had a hard time. I had a hard time.
No, I was thinking of Mitch Hedberg joke.
But I had a hard time getting back to like getting in the creative process, like writing music. Like it was a different. It was harder for me to approach it in a certain way. I guess because the weed opened my head or done something, or maybe it was just I got into like it was a routine of writing and smoking.
You got in the zone.
Yeah, it got me in the zone, but
AutoZone.
there's a commercial.
Yeah.
Everybody go buy it from AutoZone. Use our promo code.
But this is the thing too. Like if heroin was 100% legal, I still wouldn't do it. That's just. That's why I don't think that it's a bad thing to legalize all that stuff. Because you're still going to have some of those people that they're just going to be like, yeah, I don't care. Like for instance, I don't like gin, so I don't go drink gin.
Hate that stuff.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
like to say you're gonna have a bunch of drug heads.
right. I don't think it would. I think the number would go down drastically.
Me too.
And then that drives down the crime too.
I do have a theory, or I had a thought that if I made it to a certain age, like if I make it to 80 or something, I'll do some heroin.
Yeah.
Just because.
Why not?
I've made it that far. Why not just experience everything you can get your hands on?
I remember that one stone that you left alone for a while.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. When I was in the hospital, and the lady was like, "Hey, we're gonna give you morphine for the pain," and I was like, "No, I don't want to do any narcotics. I'm just gonna deal with it." And then after they came in there and told me I was going to be in there for so long, I was like, I should have taken the morphine just to pass the time.
Yeah.
Never. That's why I have to keep watching this Friends marathon.
Right.
I want to blow my brains out. Maybe I'd get these Ross references.
You would. Things would have changed in the room for you.
Right, for sure. And just quick to touch on that too, like I had a weird run-in with pain while I was in the hospital. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced anything like this, and I've been wanting to bring it up on here and I just keep forgetting about it. But it got to a point where the pain in my leg was so intense and I wasn't taking anything for it that my mind, it almost came to this realization of, hey, yeah, your leg hurts because there's something wrong with it. Just deal with it. And even though it was hurting, it was almost like it should be hurting. Like I should be aware of it.
Yeah.
And these people just kept trying to like force all these different medicines on me to like numb the pain, like not the stuff that was clearing up the infection,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
but the actual, the pain. And I was like, no, I kind of want to experience the pain. I kind of want to be a part of it. Like something in my brain was just like, no, ride it out, feel it, and then because you're supposed to be feeling it. And it almost like, even though it was hurting, it was kind of like my brain was kind of just been like, it's not really hurting you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, you're an anomaly in that aspect, I would say, because like I would definitely have taken the painkillers.
Right.
Like me, not like I'm a drug addict or anything.
Yeah.
Hell,
Why
what
not?
I mean, you're feeling silly. You're kind of
Somebody come and offer me some morphine.
I'm all about the vibe in the room, as you were saying earlier. I like vibration, so like let's get this upbeat a little bit. It's fucking sucks. But yeah, like that's probably the best way to look at it, honestly. Like if you can really deal with it, it's not gonna put you in some kind of like stress you a lot and put more harm on you than not. Like that probably is the way to go if you can do it. But
that's how my dad was.
Taking the morphine, bro.
Yeah, me too. I'm with Jay.
Let's have a good
Well, I'm
time.
glad you said so. Nurse, can you bring out the IVs?
Yes.
So I actually brought the morphine with me tonight.
You probably connect with yourself through the pain, honestly.
Yeah.
That I think it's like you're tapping into something, dude.
I think
like,
that's where I was trying to get at, is that you're
Yeah.
connecting with something.
It was almost like I was in a weird form of like hypnosis or something. Because it was like I was experiencing the pain, but at the same time I was just like, not that it wasn't hurting. Like I keep wanting to reiterate that, but it was hurting, but it was almost like I couldn't feel it. It's kind of hard to explain, like put into words.
So you're a psychopath, is what you're telling us.
Probably.
Okay.
Like here's a perfect example, right? So I'm getting this one antibiotic through the IV, and it was lighting me on fire. It felt like lava going through my veins, right? And I'm just sitting there, just watching this drip happen, and I just kept telling myself, I was like, well, there's a war happening in your body. There's going to be some casualties, and I want to feel those casualties.
damn,
He's the next Ted Bundy.
that's some dark shit,
It is
Trav.
dark. But that's something for.
But it was almost like I did, like something in me was saying, you don't want to be, like you don't want to mask this, like you need to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what, again, it's hard for me to put this into words.
I think you just have a strong mind.
Yeah.
Like you're just strong-minded and pretty strong-willed.
Yeah, strong-willed
Yeah,
too.
you are. You're like that. I mean, that's how you are. You're pretty.
I think it made you. I think maybe you wanted to know exactly what you were dealing with too. You didn't want anything to cloud that. I think you knew. You know your body. You were feeling what you were feeling. You were like, I'm gonna figure this thing out with the medicine. Like almost like you're in there playing a game with your body and fighting it too or something.
Right.
Like you wanted to feel the victory. Like,
Kinda,
the win,
yeah.
like get this shit on, and I stayed, bitch. Like there's a part of you that's like, I'm not no bitch.
Yeah.
I'm no pussy. Like, cause I know, like,
Sure.
we've been at work before, and even when you was taking them antibiotics, he took one without eating. I was actually riding with him that day.
God, that's a
And like, just a test to his mind, how he rolls with things like that, which probably attests to the pain. I was like, yo, bro, pull over and eat some, because he was feeling like shit, and I knew it. And I'm looking at him, and he's like, if you could see me, like, if you're watching the video, he's like, fuck.
God.
Like, he's fighting, and I'm like, bro, pull over. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, pull over. No, that's stupid. And I'm like, it's almost dumb to a point, but I think that's where you're getting at with that pain. Like,
that's how
you're
far
just
you
like,
take it.
He's not gonna bitch out. He's gonna fucking die throwing up before he fucking stops and gets a fucking cheeseburger. Like, he's at war.
I gotta
with his
save
brain.
that $3, bro.
Yeah, dude,
That's all I was thinking about.
He's at war with something. I think that's just a lot in your head as far as with the morphine. Because I'm, like I said, we're for sure taking the morphine, and we're gonna write a song or two.
Yes.
I'll tell you this.
I just had a vision there.
Yeah. It was so funny though, because like when the nurses come in, they have that chart. It's like 1 to 10. What's your pain level?
Yeah.
Right. And,
You don't want to tell them when it's bad.
Yeah. Well, this is I'm going to tell you two funny little stories about that. The first one is they would always come in and say, 1, you're fine. 10 is childbirth.
Ooh.
Okay, and I'm like, well, I'm a man.
First off,
So,
let's get
Right. So automatically now my chart is now 1 to 9. Because I can never experience 10. So now my chart has now been narrowed.
yeah.
Okay, I'm in the hospital, so it's definitely not out of 1. So I've only got a few numbers to even play around with now.
Yeah.
So every time they would ask me that, I'm still equating everything to. I gotta assume that childbirth, like natural childbirth's gotta be the worst pain ever.
Yeah.
You know, set next to being set on fire or something. But so in that sense, I was just like, oh yeah, I guess like a 6. Even though like to me it was tremendous pain, but I was just like, well, it's definitely not pushing a life form out of your body.
You're being extremely literal in this moment, huh? Like you're like really like.
Well, I felt like they were being literal with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because what if I would have said 9? I would have been like, this asshole in room 2.
You just want some fucking more
Hey.
Bring in the oxy.
We got a seeker.
Yeah.
Room 214.
Well, I think with your instance, they probably wouldn't have looked at you like that because I mean, you had a fucking flesh-eating virus.
That's
so
true.
They're probably like, yeah, he's probably in some fucking pain.
But the second part of that story, which is not gonna be as funny because I don't have that chart with me, but I feel like where I get like a lot of my comic abilities, I guess you could say, is from my dad. Like my dad is one of the funniest people that I know. And so we're sitting in there after this lady comes in and asks me about the chart, and she walks out of the room, and my dad, Vietnam veteran, he's like 74, hard hearing, he's just sitting there, his back, you know, he's got a bad back, the whole thing, man. And he's just sitting there looking at this chart, and he goes, look at number 1. That's you straight out of high school. He's like, look at number 3. That's just got a job and moved out of your parents' house. He's like, number 5 just got married. Number 6 just had first kid. And he's just going down this line. He's like, number 8 looks like he just retired and he's ready for death. You know, just like, he's just going out. He's just going
He made his
down
own list of the 1 through 10 charts.
of the happy faces to sad faces. And I was howling, laughing in the hospital room because he was dead ass serious, man.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it was so funny.
I've seen
man.
the chart before too, so I was trying to line it up. With
Yeah.
That's funny. Off the
I've
cuff
seen
too.
that.
Huh?
Off the cuff.
Yeah, that might be where you get it from, dude. That's
Yeah.
like a little bit of a crude sense of humor. You're just a little bit more darker.
Yeah.
So
That's from my brother.
Might be worse than my
My brother, heavy influence. He's like dark Sith.
Your dad's 74?
Yeah, I got older parents.
Okay.
And then me and my brothers are all 10 years apart exactly.
No shit.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was like, I am not going to the 6 phase quick.
Huh?
Hold on, or I guess that didn't make sense. Yeah, I remember him saying. No, that's how bad of a comedian I am.
I'm just trying to blow you up a little bit.
JC's a real funny guy.
6 phase, everyone?
It was a stretch to going back to your dad.
I got
You know, I'm really, you know how I make jokes.
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
jokes, I'm well thought out, but it's almost way too far into the reach.
Yeah,
That's
right.
my joke.
That was good though, Jay.
I'm not a good.
That was
fuck-
good.
It didn't even make sense though because he had already had a kid 10 years ago, so
It's okay.
let's just let it go.
But yeah, I feel like that made me pretty well rounded. You know, like I have a little bit from each generation I can take something from.
Hell yeah. Was there, you got a brother 10 years older?
20 years and 10 years. So we go the oldest is 50, my middle brother's 40, and I'm 30.
Wow.
And we're all like, me and my brother's birthday both in March, my oldest brother's in April, so it's almost like exactly.
Did your older brother, like oldest brother, ever spank you? Like, was it ever like a father figure type feel?
No, because
like,
by
he's
the
like
time,
20.
yeah, but you got to think like my memories probably started around like 4 years old, 5
Yeah.
years old. He was well moved out by then. That made him like 25.
Yeah, so I guess he wasn't around enough to be like, Travis, get off that.
Right.
Get off
Yeah.
that now. Like,
No, he wasn't at the house. He was
your
surfing.
next
in
oldest
Pensacola.
brother a dick?
No, he was cool, man.
You would think.
I know him, so
Yeah,
if he was listening, he'd laugh. But
Yeah, no, he's really, that would really help me out actually, because he kind of like took me in and was like,
it's the older
did a
brother.
lot of stuff for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because my parents being older and stuff, they wasn't really like playing out in the yard and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
at that age.
Yeah.
So he took me in and kind of.
But I do think it's cool that your dad is 74 and he's in there just like so. It sounds like so witty and quick to be
Oh,
just.
for sure, man.
Definitely off the cuff. with that joke you said a minute ago.
He's awesome, man. He's
That's
awesome. So what do you got there? You got a little crystal in your hand?
Oh yeah, this is just a little talisman I picked up from actually one of our shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did somebody bring it to you?
No, I got it from some hippies that were selling some jewelry and sage, and I actually burnt some of that wood in your house and got in trouble with it. It was Peruvian wood I was blessing the room with, but
Yeah.
I got all that from these hippies at our show, and I just thought they had some cool stuff,
Yeah.
and I picked up some. And
What do you think the crystal does?
well, apparently all the different crystals, like I don't even know the proper terms for this, but each crystal is supposed to heal and correlate to a chakra, and there's a vibrational field for each one of your chakras from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet.
What is a chakra?
Or I mean, to the bottom of your ass.
I've heard that word.
Your
but
ass.
What is that though?
It's hard to. I mean, I just know where they're supposed to be located.
Are they like energies in your body?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and like say like if you like when I hurt my leg, for instance, I overcompensated on my right leg,
Okay.
and I had no ability to use this left quad. So I was trying to use it way too early. I didn't do proper rehab. I didn't go do anything the right way. I was like, I'm gonna heal this myself, just really stubborn. And I started overcorrecting so much. So nowadays I'm getting the lower part of my left back worked on and massaged out because there's so much blocked energy there is what I feel.
Yeah.
I can feel it in there. So I'm not sure exactly if that's the root chakra or the one right above it, but if that energy's not moving through, you feel less than. And when you get that energy moved in your body, if somebody ever massages you with that in mind, you feel like a different person. I mean, there's no denying what you feel like,
Yeah.
and that's what I go by.
How about that?
So is chakra like a scientifically proven thing that you have, or is this like a state? Because I know like with the pineal gland, it actually, like your third eye, it actually has like a retina, right, or something like. It has an eye in it.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's. I keep saying proven, but like people that I would consider.
No, it's a scientific thing.
Yeah, it's like a scientific thing. So it's like.
Like you can't physically see out of it because it doesn't have.
No. But it's known as your third eye.
Right.
People mysticism, like you see, what the third eye is, and but it's like an eye. It has some eye shit to it, with the retina and all that. But it's not really an eye. Like, is a chakra, like, physically, like, is there actually a point to where, like, everything meets and maybe it's called a fucking whatever, but it's also known as a chakra to some people?
No, I don't think there's a scientific term or like an actual organ or anything physical that you could point to. It's just a space where you hold these different types of energies that we access every day, or if they're blocked, you don't access them so well.
I've heard plenty of people speak, like friends and everything, even like was telling me about it, like they got their chakras aligned and like listen to certain vibrations or whatever to like, I guess almost like they wanted to say detox themselves to activate these things, and like plenty of people swear by it, like.
And it is detoxifying. I mean, you'll sweat in weird ways and like places you never sweat that you normally don't sweat.
Yeah.
And you'll hurt and ache in ways that you haven't hurt and ached in, years maybe. It's just, when you get worked on like that, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I want to give me a massage, like a deep tissue massage.
Is there like a special massage therapist that does that kind of stuff?
I'm sure there are, but when I got worked on, I was at the Wani Festival in Live Oak, Florida. So there were a lot of spiritual energy type healers around, and they had a booth set up, and they were doing massages for tips. And there's no doubt in my mind that's what they were working on. They were energy healers.
Yeah.
And they were, because they could feel he felt my back and found the spot where everything was held up.
Yeah.
It's like you hold stress in there.
No kidding.
And he, pushed that out, and all of a sudden I feel this, all this energy through my chest and my heart. It's like, you don't want to block all that. You know,
Yeah.
and I think we tend to do it like our daily lives and the grinds. I think it shuts certain parts of us down.
And we just get used to it, and that's the normal now, so we don't even think about exercising that type of method, like chakras, and think of your energies and stuff, like, it's kind of like all washed away, you know, like with me, like with the vibrations and stuff Travis talks about, you know, like I never knew about that stuff, like when it came to a song or something, like there's certain vibrations put in that song to attract certain moods and how you feel about it, you know, and it was like, after I got older and learned about this whole vibe thing and frequencies and stuff, it almost made me understand why I like certain songs.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that with the chakra thing, but
Well, I was gonna try and see if there was like somebody who could align the chakras and end up a dick. Go ahead and push the energy on out of there.
Yeah. There's a.
I'd be sweating alright. Making sure there wasn't no hidden
you might grow
cameras in the booth.
You might grow some hair on your balls.
Yeah, maybe so.
If you didn't listen to the last episode, that made no sense.
I got that one.
Hey, so will you unlock this for me?
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah,
He's
I
like,
see
my
the
phone,
time.
yes. My phone, yes. Chakra's so aligned, he doesn't even see the phone.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I got a new little bit that I wanted to bring up on the podcast. You know, we're always trying to bounce new ideas and stuff.
Try things out, see how they work.
Yeah, and so this is just a funny little concept I wanted to bring up just to see what kind of answers I could get from you guys.
Okay.
And I've been keeping this one back just for this episode. Okay. So this.
Oh man, I'm nervous now.
Okay, this one is just called My First Day as President. Okay.
This is a segment?
Yeah, my first day as president.
Okay.
So let's assume for a second that the president can just, whatever he says goes. Okay, there's no Congress, there's none of that stuff. Like,
he's a dictator.
he's going to come in and he's going to make it happen.
Okay.
All right. So, Neil, I'll start with you. First day as president, you get to come in and you get to change one thing, and it can be anything you want it to be. Okay. You can make something legal. You can implicate some kind of like law. You know, whatever it is, you get to pick one thing. What's the very first thing you do day one?
I'd probably pardon a bunch of nonviolent drug offenders, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with you. That's it. That's the thing.
Are you running in 2020? That's what it just felt like. Neil shot his eyebrows. I couldn't talk for a second.
There may be something else on the list, Travis. That was just where my head went to begin with.
I'll say this is about Neil. Neil is verbal combat at his best.
Oh yeah.
He will hit you so hard, subtly.
Yeah.
Whew, that shit knocked the air out of me. Nothing but forehead and brow.
So he's getting a lot
The
of.
poor guy who's gonna end up dating your daughter, I feel for.
I do too, Travis.
Yeah, he's gonna fuck him up. With just the stare.
Yeah.
Just the look.
What about you, Jay?
First day as president. I don't know, like, am I trying to fix things?
And it can be anything you want it to be. It could be like
Can I
free
change-
Snicker bars for everybody.
Can
always.
I change the way pregnancy
happens?
Pregnancy.
I don't think so.
It's just stuck in my vocabulary now. The presidency, can I like fix that for the future?
Sure. Anything
Like I
you
could
want
be
to
like,
do.
hey, I want to appoint this kind of guy, this kind of guy, this kind of girl, this kind of
Yeah,
guy, this kind of guy,
for
and
sure.
I want them to do this job now.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do. But aside from that boring answer, I would probably.
So what you're saying is you'd make more of like a council.
Yeah, exactly. But like a better Congress, like not Congress, but like it's people that are all the president, and they all put their heads together to figure these issues out and
Okay.
have all these different perspectives and stuff, and they can. I feel like that would get things done better. Like we'd have to be able to agree on things, figure things out. You know.
Is that like do you mean like start a conversation with other leaders about
like we've, you know how we vote for a president? I would say like we have like these, maybe we keep it the classes like Republican and Democrat, whatever, but we just get, you know, somebody that's an expert in this and this, and then an expert in that, and an expert in that might represent the Republican view or the more conservative view, but then also the more progressive view. But they're all experts and not like just biased in their opinions. And then
more than just two sides.
More,
like,
more than just one person. Like,
yeah.
You know, like more people helping control things instead of just one guy.
That shows a lot about your character.
No, I've actually heard this theory before, and I just agree with it. That's what I would do.
But you're kind of like, I took it as Travis was like, I'm giving you one day to make any choice you want, like do anything, and you took that and made it like something that was going to last longer.
Selfless.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard that theory argued before of what people believe. So it's not my idea, but it's just that's what I would do if I was president. Because I totally agree with that. Because it's crazy that one person runs everything.
Right.
That's why Congress doesn't get shit done. We're always arguing. We're never like, it's never about the problem. It's always about your side.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just like, what are we doing? How far?
Man, y'all's answers were way better than.
What is yours going to be?
I thought this would go in a different angle.
It's like, oh,
mine was going to be like, you get to go on a free cruise every year. Everybody gets one free cruise.
That's probably the more entertaining answer. Probably people laugh.
I was like, shit.
Maybe we should edit that whole game.
I think that game is gonna get 86 after this episode. As soon as Neil hit me with the
86.
eyebrows, I should have just fucking canned it.
Yeah. Well, what would you do as president? Let's just go ahead and finish it off. If you leave it there.
That was it.
Yeah. Wait,
Free cruise every year.
How long is the cruise?
For like a week.
Okay, 7 days, a good 7 day cruise.
Yeah.
I'm down.
And you get that Monday off.
That's fair.
You know?
Are you the only one on the boat?
No. You know, it's like the regular.
Is it gonna be weird that a bunch of people are gonna be like, "Hey, President Barnes"?
Have you ever been on a cruise before?
I'm saying like you're the
I'm not
president.
gonna be on the
fucking
boats
cruise.
all the time.
Well,
I'm probably going on a couple presidential cruise
I'm
or
just
something.
saying. You said if you were the president, you would want to go on a free.
No. All the people get to go on a cruise.
Oh, okay.
One cruise,
Okay.
one free
I
cruise
misunderstood what
a
you said.
year.
Hey, dude,
Like Neil gets a free cruise, you get a free cruise, your wife gets a free cruise.
Do you get to pick where?
You get to pick where and when.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Unlimited cruise boats.
That's
Although
awesome.
I did hear on a podcast today that a week's worth of cruise is equal to 19 million cars in pollution. So we won't be living very long. Is the only thing. It's the only thing about my president.
Yeah. Well.
Can you imagine that? How is that not banned? How
Here
are
for a
cruise
good
ships not
time,
banned?
not a long time. You know, in some ways, I ride with that. but
Wasting
we got
away
kids.
again in Margaritaville. I'll have like one of those captain hats on with a Tommy Bahama shirt on that's open all the way.
Carnival's new tagline Jay had there. Well, I missed it.
Live a long time.
When I'm here for a long time, I'm here for a good time.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
That's also somebody else's shit.
Everything is.
Yeah. You and mine like that.
Oh man.
Sorry we keep having to do these
locked
pauses. We're using my phone to
Try to
film.
record. Hey.
So, okay, now this idea, this is a brand new idea I had, okay?
Okay.
This isn't a bit, this is just an idea I was mulling over.
This is brand new. The presidency one was long thought.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no telling when we could take turns on this. But, so, you know, a lot of people believe in aliens,
Okay.
okay? They think they were, you know,
That's fair.
they're always looking for their fingerprints on things.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, bear with me on this thought, because it's going to sound preposterous at first,
All right.
and I have no evidence to back this up,
Okay.
as usual. And it's as soon as I say this, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with this guy?" But there's stuff here that we have skeletons of, bunches of, that aren't around anymore, and got extinct by a gigantic explosion caused by an asteroid.
This.
I'm wondering if dinosaurs are aliens. Hold on. This is why. You don't actually know what an alien looks like. Like we always hear, oh, they're little gray dudes, they're little green guys. But you've never seen an alien.
No.
They could be anything.
That's where I was going with my
Have
point.
you ever seen a dinosaur? Haven't. What do they look like with skin on? Nobody really knows. You see what their bones look like.
Yeah. They're actually debating now that they have feathers and not just smooth skin.
Yeah.
It's like their type of
Or
bird.
chicken-like.
Like T-Rex with his short arms, like it's just an evolved fucking bird. But that's a good point because we don't know.
Right.
We don't. It's completely up for debate.
And what if the comet, or the asteroid that hit the Earth, was like a laser beam or something shot from another alien colony that was wiping out the aliens that were here? And they somehow knew that that was going to happen, so they imprinted their like DNA and shit into the ground. And
why are we even debating, like, how did aliens get in the picture, like something not from this earth, when everything and the only thing we have is on this earth? How do we get in the sky?
Right.
How do we get up there? There's something was
Sky
planted,
in
bro.
quotations.
Something was planted, bro, because that wouldn't just be a natural thought.
Neil, thoughts?
Well, I just heard something the other day that stuck out about that. And it's not my theory, but somebody said you're always going to hear about the abductions, you're always going to hear about the sightings because it is, because we all have it in our subconscious now. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the same things and having the same, almost like it's a shared hallucination of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, like we just, it's one of those things now. It's a thing. You know, we're always going to wonder. Or claim we know or claim they're not real, but
I've seen something before that I can't explain.
What'd you see?
do your best.
You see a pterodactyl?
Oh, it was a UFO.
Same thing, I think.
And getting back to the point, that's what you were saying, right? Aliens on that ship are pterodactyls.
Dinosaurs
Could-
in it.
could have
hand in
been.
hand. What'd you see though?
It was some light. There were some lights. This was just outside of my front door. On the I was on a farm, so it was completely dark. I mean, dark. And so you could see the lights, the red lights that were around on this thing, and it just hovered right there. And I was like, I don't hear anything, I don't see any movement. It's just hovering. And my dad and I just watched it for a few minutes. It seemed like 30 minutes, but it was probably maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just backed out, almost like it was in a frame by frame, just
Weird.
until it was gone. It was crazy.
I have a story where I believe if I seen anything, it was something. You know, it's the closest I can get. I was living in Molina. I was outside, close to the river in Molina, the Escambia River, if anybody knows where that's at. But anyways, it was nighttime. I'd say like 9-10 o'clock. I was outside smoking, and I seen one, like, something I couldn't hear at all. It didn't look very high, and it looked pretty big, and it was just it went across the sky, and then like 45 seconds later, I'd see another one, but I never see where it went, and I was never seeing where it come from. Just crossed over the river. Well, I had seen like 4 of these. And the next one that came over just kind of like hovered and then was gone. I could never hear anything. And that sounds like total bullshit, like I just made it up. But I have like 2 people that can attest. My wife being one. It's crazy shit. Like,
I was wondering if they were shooting stars at first.
No, because it was obviously a plane or something. Like I thought maybe it was like, because I was telling somebody and they were like, oh, you always see some stuff down there. And then the other people were saying like, no, this the way the base flies over. They'll fly over that area, so it's like, you know. But you know, Pensacola is pretty prime for Gulf Breeze, really, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gulf Breeze is really prime.
There's
for
books
Yeah,
out
it's
on
a
it.
pretty big thing. Yeah.
I listened to a podcast about that guy that had that UFO sighting over there.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
I would like to. There's a lot of them. Ain't just like one person.
He's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The main dude.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it ended up debunking a bunch of his stuff. Where he made a lot of that stuff up. Remember he had those cameras that were locked, so whenever he took a picture of it, the picture would be locked. Like the film roll would be locked with the frames, because that was like one of the ways that he was going to try to prove that he wasn't doctoring the photos. I don't know. It was a long time ago when I listened to it, so I can't really remember too much of it. But I feel like they found out that he was a fraud.
Full of shit. Well,
and maybe he saw something and expounded on it.
Exactly.
So he
I
saw
think that
dollar
happens a lot.
signs. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think people see stuff they don't know what they saw.
It's definitely something that we don't know what we're seeing, whether it be aliens or the government fucking playing tricks or whatever the case may be. Like, all these people seeing stuff, sure, a good percentage of them are probably full of shit, but there's there's got to be something to it, right?
Yeah.
Why would it stick around so long? You know, it's almost laughed at now, but like, I mean, not really. It's kind of half and half now. There's people, and also if you believe in space and all that, like, what's the chances have to be there
That there's
Space is
somebody else.
infinite.
Right.
Yeah, come on, we gotta be the only ones.
I just saw that NASA is offering to take people to the International Space Station now,
To prove-
round trip, but it's $58 million.
That's why. Or is it to prove like
Jesus.
flat Earth wrong or something? Is that why?
It's just like, I guess to say you've been to space and just come back.
They should do one round for free for that, Jay.
Yeah, I agree.
Earth. There was like a documentary or TV show that people were trying to put together to like do that, like go around the Earth and just come up with ways of not proving, which, as silly as it sounds, I feel like would be a huge hit.
Yeah.
People would watch it. Just to see somebody
Just to
prove
see.
wrong or prove it right.
I know Netflix just came out with a flat Earth documentary.
Yeah, about why people are like believing in it,
Right.
Or trying to prove.
It's called
the
like
case.
Beyond the Curve or something like that.
Oh, so damn, that's pretty official. It's like somebody trying to prove Earth is flat, or just
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just heard somebody
just
talking about
the
it.
conspiracy.
Honestly, I don't know. That's all I know.
I'll
Is
have
it's
to
a
check
flat
it
Earth
out.
documentary.
I'm interested in it.
So we can get into some emails now, if that's what you guys are.
Would you rather's?
Well, we've actually got some relationship advice.
You fuckers are crazy. We get them too. We get like 2 or 3.
What do you want to do first? You want to do relationship advice or want to do
Let's do relationship advice while we still have our dignity.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and go with that.
That sounds good. Neil, are you good at giving relationship advice? You seem like the kind of guy that I would go to as a friend and be like,
Yeah.
I need relationship advice.
Some people have approached me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
You
very
seem like
approachable.
You'd be well with advice. Like, you seem like you could tell somebody what they probably
I feel like people
Yeah.
could approach you easily for like a marital 3-way.
Blessings.
I feel blessed. Way up, I feel blessed. Yes, it's a gift, Travis.
Let's see what I mean, man.
We're about to lose it.
Comedian,
You
bro.
He does have that stroke about him.
That's what that couple told me. That's what that couple told
Thank
me.
you, Jay.
Okay, so this is from Rachel in Pensacola. Okay. Now she says, guys, I need a little advice. Me and my guy have been together for 6 years. We've been married for 2. When we got together, we discussed having children. We both wanted children. Since then, recently, my sister has had 2 kids, and after babysitting them a whole bunch, I'm not exactly sure if I want children anymore. My husband has recently been wanting to. Trying to scroll down here. My husband now has been wanting to try to start having children, and I don't know what to tell him. Any advice?
This is from a girl?
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a first.
Shout out to Rachel in Pensacola.
Rachel.
So basically,
How old? How old are they?
she is 27 years old, and the man is 28.
So 6 years together, only been married 2, and she doesn't want
Yeah.
kids now because
But
she's
they discussed it beforehand. That's the thing she was saying, that they discussed it beforehand.
She agreed to it? Or?
They both wanted children at the time, but after seeing her sister going through having the kids and her watching the kids also, she doesn't know if she wants the kids anymore. And now her husband is at that point where he's like, hey, I'm ready to have kids, and she's kind of not wanting to have them anymore.
That's tough. I mean, okay, let's look at this from 2 ways.
Okay.
All right, the husband. Let's look at his side. He was with the lady for 8 years so far. 2 years married. 6 years together, 2 years married, right?
Well, 6 years together, so they'd be together 6 years.
2.
because they'd be together.
Oh, they've been together
Plus
in total
the
6 years?
Yeah, 6
They
years
got married.
together, 2 years married.
Okay.
Would be
I'm
like a
thinking, I'm
even
adding
year.
it to. I'm
Yeah.
thinking they've been married for 2 years. Okay, so, but looking for his perspective, like, she agreed to it, right? Like, she agreed to him having kids, and to some people, kids is, like, very important to them.
Yeah,
Like, very important.
very important. I would say the most
So-
important, probably.
So is she asking, should she leave the guy, or is she saying?
Well,
she
she's
should
saying
tell
she
him?
doesn't know what to do. You know, because like right now she doesn't want to. She's thinking she doesn't want kids now anymore.
And surely, from her perspective, you don't want to come into having kids and thinking you don't want them.
Right.
Like, maybe not knowing if you would, but like feeling like you don't want kids might be a bad move to have one.
Yeah.
For the kids' sake. So like, ultimately, she's got to make the call and be that person. But he's got a point to be mad, I think. But she's like, her decision's probably more important.
Yeah.
I know somebody. I know somebody with a similar situation kind of going on in life, and that's not easy. You know, that can't be easy.
You gotta be hard, dude. That's tough.
We before I got married, I didn't know if I wanted kids, and my wife was like, will you just be open to it down the road? And I said, yeah, I'll you know, I'm open about it now. I just don't feel like I do right now.
Right.
And so, you know, it was several years in before we had ours, and it was fine by then. Like, that's what we wanted to do. But I think you got to be on board, like, especially the ladies got to be on board.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah, I think just to have like a stable set mind when you have a child. Like, you know, I had my children, and kind of like my first one wasn't planned, you know, so it was kind of threw us in a panic.
As most children are nowadays.
Yeah, but we wasn't like, we were in a panic, but we wasn't like running from it, you know. So
Would
it
you
was
say
like,
you were in a state of widespread panic?
But yeah, no, I get her point, and also like when Neil was saying, like, I don't know, I feel like they both have to be on board. Maybe not call it quits, but maybe just, you know.
I think probably the best move is to say, hey, I'm not ready for that right now.
Yeah. Or maybe
You know.
your sister's kids are brats.
Pieces of shit.
Right. That doesn't mean hers are going to be that way.
Right.
Exactly. Hey, Rachel,
She's
I love
just-
my children, so.
Yeah, I love my baby girl. So
Yeah.
I think you should reconsider.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rachel, let's be honest, you're going to end up getting a divorce anyway. So I would say go ahead and get the divorce, and maybe down the line you end up having a kid with a stranger who will, you know,
Slam that dick.
you'll probably end up having unprotected sex coming out of like Seville, since you're from Pensacola, and he'll blow a load in you for sure. And then there'll be another question you can write in is whether you should have a abortion or keep the baby. So
Yeah. You know, well, Rachel, you're with a guy that's responsible enough to be with you for 6 years and not get you pregnant already, so.
true
That's
that.
something to think about.
What if
'Cause,
it?
like, I was in there.
What if it comes out?
As T would say, spraying up the club.
Yeah. What if it comes out down the line though that this guy is he can't have kids?
That's a blow.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Dude,
She
you gotta
like-
watch him after that.
Because then she'd have to like fake. Oh man, dang! I really wanted you to be fertile. You know. Or, what do they call that when your swimmers aren't working?
Infertility or low mobility.
It's called something like your.
Shit.
I just found out
Sterile.
sterile.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a
Wouldn't that
buddy
be
of mine that
something?
thought he was sterile. It wasn't sterile.
But they can do a lot. They can do a lot to help that now.
Oh really?
On both sides of the coin, yeah. They can help people get pregnant.
Yeah, there's like a lot you can adjust your diet to up your counts and shit.
Now, let me ask you this. This is something I'm wondering about. If you went and got, like, let's say this guy went out and let's say it was the roles were opposite and it was a guy, okay?
That can get pregnant?
No. If he was the one not wanting the kids and the girl was wanting the kids now, what do you think about if the guy went and got a quick vasectomy done, okay? But didn't say anything, and he's like, yeah, I want kids, and he's just pumping these loads in there, knowing they're not gonna work.
Damn. That's fucking
Do you think that's
deep-seated, bro. You gotta get out of there.
Do you think that's divorceable if you're the chick and you find out later?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
That's
you
like
wasted
dark
you
shit,
wasted
man.
fucking years for her.
I may or
Look at the camera and make that face.
I may or may not have ran this thought through my head.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
me and my
definitely.
chick were at 2 kids and she wanted another one? I really was contemplating going and get the vasectomy done, just not saying anything about it.
Hey, well.
I knew you didn't have a chance in hell.
Yeah, I was like, man, if that ever
realized
gets
this was
out.
about to go down.
Yeah.
Once she knew she wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girls end up just taking it turns out.
It does.
Yeah. Whatever they want, they're gonna get.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes.
But I will say this about vasectomies.
What a transition.
I was like, you know, we were talking about if we wanted any more kids, and my wife's not really into the idea.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm open to the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the idea of me having a vasectomy, she won't hear that because of something here.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently, what you're putting out in the world as a man changes somewhat on a deep level when you get that done. For some women.
How about that?
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
It changes like just your energy about you, like as a man, and she looks at you different. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Wow.
can see it, cause like I mean, it has to do with testosterone in a lot of ways, right? Your balls and shit. So maybe.
Well, I mean, they're just not making the.
I know, but maybe that, you know, cause like birth control does stuff.
It's probably
to
more or
women.
less of like you, the man. You're supposed to be the giver of
Maybe
life.
yeah,
And now you're not that.
Yeah, she
now
does.
you're just a partner.
She'll see another man.
The dreaded partner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My
I mean,
partner and I. Yeah.
Well,
This
Rachel,
is actually. Well, yeah. Well,
sorry, Rachel.
Yeah.
Think about it. You know, consider it, and I would say come to a compromise and y'all can stay together. Don't rock with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's a good transition on
Wow,
a pet
that's-
peeve. Here's a good transition on the pet peeves right
Okay.
here.
All right.
My pet peeve is whenever guys say we're pregnant.
Oh well. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I gotta go with you
Your
on that.
wife is
I
pregnant.
know. No. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I can't stand to hear a guy say, "Oh, we're three weeks pregnant," or we're 9. You have
They're
to
just
be-
real involved. I don't think it makes them bad people though. Or
It's just a pet peeve of mine.
oh, okay.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I forgot we completely transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is a pet.
That's
peeve.
how good that transition was.
It was very
Didn't even
smooth.
fucking- That was like
I didn't see it.
that was like the verbal combat from Neil.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. I agree. You got a pet peeve?
what's your biggest pet peeve now?
Man, I had one that was just all over my head earlier today, and since I don't have it now,
Just don't say the Jews,
right?
because we got in trouble in the last podcast.
I would say that it's how there's a certain part of our culture where it's like, you know, everything's been said, everything's been done, and there's I don't know, a level of like talking down towards people, or not really giving people room to be in awe, like, and to be shocked and to be excited truly, and like in wonderment. Like I feel like there should be more of that, and that would solve some deep rooted issues, you know, if we could just touch base with that again and not be so judgmental of ourselves and others.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
I didn't follow that really.
It was more of a philosophy, I guess, than a pet peeve. I told you I had a better one when I came
It's how
in.
you dolphin, man. It's like the last 3 episodes, I've done that. Where I fucking went blank on my pet peeve.
I was like, Neil's gonna go on this rant, and then at the end of it, he's gonna be like, anyways, my pet peeve. Leaving the toilet seat up. I felt like that Krista was like pointing at Jay and y'all were connecting.
Yeah.
I couldn't tap
I totally got it. My pet peeve. Okay, well, my pet peeve. Mine's kind of not a great one, but it is a pet peeve because I seen it on
Well, it's great to
Facebook
you.
the other day.
It's your pet peeve.
Exactly.
You know?
Way to have a perspective.
Yeah.
Is when guys like, okay, so my high school reunion's coming up, right?
Oh no.
Oh, God, it's true.
Wait.
Not now, but in like a year, right? Well, there's just people that I see on there that are cool people, whatever. I don't talk to them, you know, like most people that are out of high school.
Yeah.
But when they're the type of people, there's plenty of other type of people like frat guys. You see Peach and stuff, and it's when they're like drinking a beer and they call beer cold snacks.
I've never heard
You've
that.
never heard that? Have you heard that? I know it's a thing because I hear it a lot from them.
They call beer
Cold snacks, like give me a cold snack. Like when they open the fridge, like
No
you
kidding.
want a cold snack? Like they call it cold snacks, and I can't stand that. It's not a snack at all.
Yeah.
Go grab me a beer.
I
I
don't
don't know.
I've
Just
never heard that,
cold
but I
snacks
don't
are-
like that.
And it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, I guess, call it what you want. You know, really, I'm not gonna come up to you and call you whatever for it, but it is a pet peeve of mine. When I hear somebody say cold snacks referring to beer, I'm like,
What about Bruce?
what is that?
Is Brewski okay?
Brewski's
Sure.
cool because it's brew. You know,
Yeah.
there's not many bad names for beer. It's just when it's called a cold snack, I'm like, I just feel like it's got a frattish type, trying to be funny type.
Douche.
I drink a lot.
Yeah.
Douche. Perfect. That's what it is. It's a fucking douche.
What about if somebody says beer me, bro?
It doesn't bother.
That's alright.
It's
That's
fine.
okay too.
He's
Just
probably
not
just a
cold
little
snacks.
ditzy dude that's fun to be around, you know?
Have you heard that before, Neil? Cold snacks?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but if I did, I dismissed it immediately.
Yes. That's what you should do. That's what you should do.
Neil will rip your soul out,
Yes,
bro.
yes.
I can see him on the
That was
beach
my
and
pet peeve.
you're looking at him and say, did you hear that? I dismissed it immediately.
I didn't hear shit. What are you talking about? Oh, well. But yeah, that's my pet peeve is beer snacks. Yeah, it's a
good
thing. I'm not making this
I've
up.
heard of snack packs.
Yeah. Well, like fruit snacks and stuff.
No, like this, like the pudding.
Oh, yeah, of course. Snack packs. But like this is called a cold snack.
Cold snack.
Yeah, like just, I don't know. It's just.
Remember jam packs? Back in the day, whenever PlayStation used to put out these demos, and it was like called jam packs, and it was
Oh,
like
it had games in
$5,
there?
and it had like Tekken, and you could be like 2 characters, and it would have like Spyro level 1.
They give you the quarter of the game or something?
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was
Spyro was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only game I had for
Medieval.
years.
Remember Medieval, the little skeleton with the big eye?
Yeah.
Remember that game?
Didn't play that one.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
Yeah, I remember
Moving
Spyro.
on.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So,
What was
I
that?
want-
Genesis era you were talking about?
no, this is like PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
it would
out
have,
on that.
It would have like siphon filter,
Yeah.
train level. You know,
Yeah, it was just like
funky.
It's like you don't get them out of like a cereal box or something. It was like
Yeah.
a piece of the game. Like it gave you.
I just
Yeah,
remember
just
like
like
at
one.
Walmart they were called jam packs. They for $4.95 and it would have like 14 games on there. And my mom, we were too poor to like afford the games, so my mom would just buy us the jam packs, and it'd be like all the games kinda.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
exactly what it was for us. I
Got
played
a couple levels of this, couple levels of that.
Right. No, get to
We
play
got a
complete
full game out of all these games.
Yeah.
I had like NCAA fucking 98 or 99
Yeah.
or something like that.
I think
And it was
that's why.
always Michigan versus Ohio State. Like always.
Exactly.
But I played that shit for years until like we got a Nintendo 64.
Ooh, that's gonna be loud.
Sorry.
I think that's why to this day I don't finish things I start.
It could be. I'm the same way. I don't hardly ever
You get past the first part of it and then I just quit.
Yeah.
Don't even know what that looks like.
No. You didn't take the morphine, so
I didn't take the morphine, bro.
that's all that matters.
Story of my life. Yeah, we'll get into some would you rathers. How about that?
Let's go ahead and cap this thing off.
Cap it on up. Cap it on up. All right. So let me see if any of these.
Would you rather? Is that what we're doing? Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to do the pet peeve song.
I know.
Oh
Roll
well.
with it. We got some emails?
Yeah, I picked out 3 good ones too. I'm just trying to see if any of these are like really. See, I actually not a lot of dark ones came in this time.
So would you rather's or relationships?
The would you rather?
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
think the relationships are starting to get dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. a little bit. But I thought that these were pretty interesting.
Okay, roll with it.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so this is from Blake in Crestview, and he asked, would you rather spend a year in the hospital or spend a year in prison? Spend a year in the hospital or spend a year in prison? Now see, for me, right out of the gate, this seems like an obvious answer, but I almost would say I would take prison over the hospital.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there on board with you. I
I
have
know.
my health intact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
If you're in
maybe.
the hospital for a year, something's, you know, you got something going on.
That's what I tend to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're in prison, you're getting butt fucked.
No, I'm not.
And possibly.
I'll,
you ever seen American
I'll
History
die in that
X?
year. No, I know what you mean. I
If
just don't.
they
I don't
want it,
see
they'll
that.
get it, bro.
That's what I hear. But you know what? This state of mind is I'll die first. So maybe they would end up getting you. You know. But
Well, then there's that 1 year becomes your life sentence then because you just died.
exactly. But I'm still running with prison because maybe it's just a couple nice guys like me that got dealt the same. You know, just didn't want to spend a year.
What if you knew you would not get fucked in the butt?
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I say if there's no ass rape involved, then I would. There's a good chance I would try it just to see if I could hack it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the flip side though is the hospital. At least your family can just come and hang out with you all
Oh,
day.
right.
And so like,
Or do you get well out of the hospital? Like, you only spend a year in the hospital and you go about your merry little way?
yeah, both situations at the end of the year you're going on.
Am I getting morphine in the hospital?
Induced coma.
Hey, it's a legit question.
Yes.
We're not getting fucked in the ass or we're getting morphine. What's
That's it. I'm going with hospital.
Yeah. I'm a 9.
I think I would. God, you keep going back to that
At
chart.
least you're getting it.
Yeah.
At least you're getting it.
You
You
gotta
catch
go on that
yourself
level.
real late.
Yeah.
Somebody got it. Good.
I think that, I would just like to be shredded. That's why I would go to jail for a year.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that. Like, just go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
You would. But you probably get out with a bunch of shitty tattoos.
I definitely
Yes.
would.
Yeah, because I know so many people that go in there and just do it anyway. No?
Today I was actually thinking I might get a couple tattoos.
Really?
I might. I'm starting to get off of the. I used to not like tattoos, and now here recently, some of the artwork these dudes are doing is incredible.
You're gonna get some tribal?
I kind of want to get a werewolf. I love werewolves.
Yeah. I like wolves.
But I also have I
Yeah.
have a horrible body. I'm so plain. I look like if you were gonna make a video game and after you pick the character you want to be male or female and you click male, that would be the body type that I have right there out of the gates. I got stage 1 body type.
Gotcha.
Check it out, bro. It changes
Yeah.
your whole look.
It does change your whole.
Where would I
yeah.
get that at though?
The tattoo.
They'd be like,
or, tattoo
why does
person.
your dad have a werewolf? You fucking creep.
Where do you want to put it?
Exactly. Where do you get it put?
I'm sure people get werewolves and shit. People get all
Yeah,
kinds of
but
shit.
not dad. Hey, we're trying to practice soccer. You fucking creep.
Yeah, but you gotta get out of this state of mind. Like, if you want a werewolf tattoo, go get your fucking werewolf tattoo,
I
and then
guess.
show motherfucker what that shit's about.
What if I had it on my
Yeah,
chest?
you can still rock it.
Yeah,
You can rock
you
it.
gotta rock it, bro. That's
And
the
like
thing.
I had a tank top where like just his head.
I'm
was-
picturing it I'm picturing it on your chest. That's
Yeah.
what I'm seeing.
That's what I see.
But I got like this hole in my chest. Maybe that could be his mouth.
That's
It's like a 3D image.
See, there
it
you
will
go.
work with that.
Work with your flaws. Make
Yeah.
them flawless.
Ooh.
Oh.
Make them listen coming out
Spank, spank.
2020, January 4th.
Damn, I thought he was gonna drop a follow me.
Follow me, you already know.
Yeah.
July 4th weekend, y'all.
July 4th weekend.
That's
I'm holding you to that date.
What's gonna happen if I don't, though?
Everybody's gonna be super disappointed.
It's
Make me
gonna-
look like an
that'll
asshole.
be worse. I was hoping you'd say fight me. Yeah, that'd be worse.
Everybody be like, damn, Jay.
I got you. I got you.
Jesus. You mind opening that up for me?
This man.
So what
Neil's
what
not
we-
giving you that fucking password.
I don't want it. I'll forget it. I want to see
He's like,
I'll
Nick,
toss it off.
the dick pic compilation. So I'm going with prison. You're going with what, Jay?
probably prison.
Prison?
Last rate.
And Neil?
I'm going with hospital.
He's going with
There
hospital.
we go.
Caveat there: if he wasn't getting butt fucked, he would take the prison.
That's the only thing making me want to get hospital.
Okay, now this next
Good
one
time.
is a little bit about kind of what we were talking about in a way. This one, let me find out who this is from. This is from Glenn. You don't hear too many people named Glenn anymore.
Glenn. Shout out Glenn. OG, I guarantee you. How old is he?
It doesn't say how old he is,
Yeah.
but he's from Cantonment, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Glenn with 2 N's. He asked, would you rather find out that we live in a simulation or that aliens exist?
Damn, this is right up our alley.
Right up our alley.
Would you rather?
Find out that we live in a simulation or that aliens exist.
Okay. Thought it would be easier.
I love how he thinks about it. Though.
I know, it's
it's
calculated.
I thought that would be easier. I'm gonna say that aliens exist.
Okay.
Because at least there's still gonna be some wonderment beyond that. Like I can still have, faith in God, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go.
No, I was just gonna say, if you found out that you were living in a simulation, though, wouldn't that open up endless possibilities for?
That's true. I wouldn't have to give up faith. That's for if we were in a simulation. That's true. You're just. It's really just words we're talking.
Do you have control of the simulation? Like you find out you're in a simulation, so you act out of.
See, that's what I wonder.
See, like me, like if I find out it's a simulation and I find out, which that doesn't work, but if I found out I was in a simulation and my moves and everything I did was just premeditated, that would disappoint me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm sorry, bro.
Predetermined acts of randomness, though.
Yeah, but
I'm with you on that, man.
I would be disappointed.
I want to feel like I've got a little bit more free will than that.
Yeah, I'd like to know I'm in control of something.
I wonder if the two go hand in hand, though.
There you go.
You find out the aliens exist, and they tell you that you live in a simulation.
Could be, but if you are in a simulation, if you're actually in a simulation, you're not gonna know that you're in a simulation because that's not the simulation.
So this is like Inception.
It's a fucking not a run-on sentence, but
redundancy.
Redundancy of the question. It's a good way to think about it. If you really want to dive in there, you'll never know you're in a simulation.
I think I'd rather know I was living in a simulation.
Explain.
Well, I just don't like. First of all, I don't like the thought of dinosaur aliens. Just freak me out. And
you don't take that as fact.
No, but something about aliens I just don't dig.
Yeah.
I feel like
come back and
why are they hiding out there?
Yeah.
I don't like that. With this
Make yourself visible, sir.
Exactly, bro.
We're cool. We're just down here destroying our own place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With the simulation, I feel like with the whole God thing, because you could still say, well, somebody created the simulation for me. And just because you think that the simulation, now you know the simulation is real, but are you real in the simulation? Are you a character? Are you part of the simulation? Or are you experiencing the simulation?
Jesus Christ, this is deep. This is nice.
You're going from programmer to participant to
exactly
decoration within.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's the best way I've ever heard it put.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so what's the question though? Where do we go?
Just talking about the levels of it. I mean,
because you could almost control it at that point.
Like, what if that's this?
If you become that self-aware or that aware of it.
Right.
Yeah. It's sort of like when you can fly in your dreams and you take over.
Exactly.
You feel yourself take over.
Or if you reach behind someone's ear and you pull out a quarter. No, probably not
that one.
Not the same.
I get what you were going though. I get where you were going.
Yeah.
Interesting question. I can't remember.
Glenn with two N's.
With two
Damn,
N's.
do it, Glenn. Shout out to
Shoot us
Glenn.
another one, Glenn. That was a way to get us thinking.
Yeah.
And a lot of people mad about listening to us talk about alien dinosaurs.
These guys do not know science.
Fucking idiots. Let me message them about time again.
Okay. Last one.
I don't know if anybody got that, but I used to get mad messages about people correcting us on the theory of time. I think that people have gotten the gist of us though, so to not take it too serious. Thinking.
Both of you guys have used that properly, and I always used to say the just.
The just.
I always used to say, I've got the just of it.
Oh, not just.
Who you were talking to was like, what?
And both of y'all, I was so proud of both of you guys, because I'm like, damn, that is just something I did.
Oh, yeah.
I always just say, and nobody ever corrected me on it.
They're like, poor guy, just let him fucking ride.
But, you know,
I don't get the gist of this.
Eventually I got the gist of it. Matter of fact, the first time I heard somebody say jest, I got the gist of it. I was like,
That sounds good.
it's just.
Dumb
You're
motherfucker.
just wrong about that, sir.
This motherfucker dumb. You hear what I'm saying? Just?
Yeah.
Good.
Alright, this is from Bobby and Inslee. Now that's a real Pensacola person right there, bro. If you're dropping Inslee,
Damn.
you don't even rep Pensacola.
You need to type to somebody, ask, hey bro, where you from? Inslee. You did down there by Pensacola? Yeah, a little over, but I'm in Inslee.
No, I'm all represented.
Yeah. We like next to Pensacola.
Yeah.
Neighbors.
He asked, would you rather find out that you were... He said, would you rather find out that you are related to your spouse or that your kids are not your kids after 18 years?
This is Johnson Avenue.
This is Goolsby. Or Guidey. This is Guidey Lane right here, bro.
Ask it again.
Find out that you are related to your spouse or find out that your children are not yours after 18 years.
Depends on what the relation would be to the wife.
Yeah. Like how deep are we talking?
How deeply related?
Yeah, like if she's my sister or if she's my cousin, that's a big difference.
Well, he didn't specify, so I'll say sister.
Damn, you.
Fuck. Of course you would.
Yeah, that's hell of a
Like it's
caveat.
maybe like a Joe Dirt type of situation where they were separated at birth and didn't know it, and they come back around, fall in love, and then they take a 23andMe and find out you've been 23andMe your sister.
Like related as in blood related?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, if it's like even your cousin, you gotta worry about even with like, you gotta worry about having kids now. Like
He didn't specify, so we're going with sister.
Well, then you're you know, do you really want to do that?
What do you do at that point though? Because you know, let's say you've been married for 20 years.
Yeah. I mean,
You're already pretty comfortable with that.
You gotta roll with that. You just got to. I don't know. Your sister though? That's a tough one.
It's a tough one. And imagine if you did have like a child with special needs.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, the other end of this question is being after 18 years, finding out your kid's not yours. That's the other one, right? So
that's a tough one.
That's a tough one too. But look at it this one way: is you already have established you're these children's father.
No matter what.
Right.
Whatever happens, so you're not losing that. You and your old lady, and you're like, maybe she just knew she was wilding out back like, you know, when you're about 3 years together and you stuck around and you always kind of known, but never said nothing. Like,
You'd be like, man, those kids were always a little tanner than I expected.
A little darker, you know? But yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I knew something was up with this bitch.
Are you mad, or is at worst you're gonna be mad? That's the worst case scenario. What was the other one? I'm blanking out.
The wife being your sister.
Yeah. See, that fucks with your psyche.
I feel like you'd have to go walk around a little bit after knowing that. You know.
You'd have to.
I'd be taking some deep breaths, maybe doing some stretches.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what are we taking, guys?
But I mean, you know, Jaime Lannister and Cersei Lannister seemed to make it work on Game of Thrones, and they knew it right off the rip.
Damn.
And was that a thing back then, apparently, where they didn't cross up bloodlines like that?
No, it is a thing. They used to try to keep the royalty in the bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I believe that's a thing.
I think it is.
Would you say no?
Well, I've always heard that too,
yeah.
but it kind of goes against what I've always been taught about mental retardation or being born with some physical deformities if you hook up with your sister.
I wonder if that's
or a cousin. I mean, a first cousin.
It's just funny what we're talking about.
I wonder if that's like fake news just so you don't go around fucking your siblings.
No, it's real.
How do you know?
There's plenty.
You got something you want to tell us? This is breaking news.
There's incest out there, and there's kids that fucking are retorted from it.
They just didn't show them in Game of Thrones.
He's right.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Even that's a handsome dwarf, I'll even say.
Well, I'm taking
the best looking dwarf I've ever seen.
Very much.
I'm taking the 18-year-old.
I'm a fan. I'm gonna take.
Not 18-year-old to 18 years and finding that out. I'm rolling with that. Both suck. Both fucking suck.
Man, it does.
I'm gonna keep the old lady.
Yeah.
I'll keep the wife.
Yeah, 'cause it's love. I mean, if y'all are in love and you never know.
Right.
But what if y'all have this connection, like, you know, because like every brother and sister, like, I mean, my brothers, we just, it's just hard to picture them not being my brother and sister. It seems like if we ran into each other, it's like something would tell us in our head, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's easier for me because I don't have a sister either, so I have nothing to relate that part to.
Yeah.
So, but like, what if you really don't know and you don't have this feeling of, you know, disgust about yourself? Like, you don't. It feels normal.
Yeah.
Like with somebody and you're really in love. Imagine having to suffer that heartbreak just knowing y'all broke up because of that.
I know.
That'd be rough.
That would suck. Yeah, I was literally just over here thinking about, like, man, that would suck to throw that great relationship away just because you found out you were related to each other.
Man, now you gotta be heartbroken and miss each other, and that shit sucks.
Well, here's another caveat in there, though, that he put spouse. So it could be, in this situation, hypothetically, that you were a gay man married to your brother.
Oh, God, Travis.
Could be.
Taking us
Because
down
it
the
said
road.
spouse, not wife. Notice that.
Well, he's from Inslee.
It's true.
Damn.
So maybe in this scenario, you could be a gay man married to your brother.
Well, I'm taking the kids that I'm alive.
So
Kids
he's
are
out on that all the
yeah,
way.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
You're not.
Because he's the kid's father no matter what.
Right. There's a lot of kids in this town that Jay's father is. That doesn't surprise me in the least bit. I think I would take the spouse.
You fucking sicko.
I've been looking for a way out of my kids for a long time. Anyway.
Oh, wait, no, so you take, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're going to find out that you're not your kid's father.
No, I find out that I'm related.
To your wife.
And
Okay.
then do away with the children.
Okay, you're just getting it all swept away. Like,
Yeah, you gotta have one
Cleaning
or
it
the
out.
other. You
Yeah.
know?
So your motive is to take your wife that is...
I'd take my sister, wife, and leave my kids.
Oh.
with their
I hope nobody sound
Real
clips
parent.
that because y'all were just really
That-
quiet right after that.
Yeah. I just took the question different than that. Like, I didn't... Go ahead. I'm not gonna
Well, that's
dive
it.
back down that.
That's the question. You either gotta be married to your, you know, would you rather? You know, would
Yeah,
you
but if
rather
you're married
stay
to-
married to
yeah.
your sister or be father
Yeah,
to
but
these
your
kids that
motive,
aren't yours?
your motive to that answer is that you get to leave your kids when the kids aren't even in the picture.
Well,
They're one or the other. You don't have kids and you're married to your spouse. That can't be your motive to leave your kids because there's no kids to leave. You're leaving your spouse.
yeah, but I mean, like in I'm saying, but in your situation, like with you with your kids right now that we obviously know aren't yours,
Yeah.
and you're still gonna find out.
They're
if
mine. Whatever you say, I love them,
Right.
children.
So at the end of the 18 years, you would leave them, okay,
Uh-huh.
or you would leave your. Now you got me confused.
Okay.
Anyways,
That's why I
I'd
didn't
stay
wanna
with my
say anything.
sister.
That's why I was
I'd
gotcha.
stay with my sister.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, y'all
Jay's always
sound-
got to come in here and fuck things
I
up.
fucking think, bro. I can't help but be like that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can't help it. We got any
Like,
more?
would you rather fight Godzilla or King Kong?
I-
Well, I don't know. Did my family die whenever King Kong was around?
So it's a scientifically fact that his tail was a little, you know, would you take
Right.
the tail? Yeah.
It's radioactive. The whole planet dies.
Dang, bro, it keeps me chattering. I don't know what to tell you. You have to deal
This
with it.
dude's got 13 ghost syndrome or something. You
What
got
is
a
that?
bunch of demons trapped in your head.
What
You
is
remember that 13 Ghosts movie?
No.
Shannon Elizabeth's film debut.
Is it worth watching?
It was back
American
in the day.
Pie fame.
What's it about?
Yeah. It's about these spirits that this guy collects in a house. It's like a horror movie.
Oh,
It
that's
doesn't
what
hold
you're
up.
saying,
I actually
yeah.
just watched it a few. Like your head is full of 13 ghosts, but it is the whole thing now. Doesn't
Just
matter.
like Gremlins hold up, didn't you say?
Gremlins.
Did not hold
It
up?
did not hold up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is in that same cat.
And I love 13 Ghosts is one of my favorite scary movies of all time. And the other night we were like, let's watch a good scary movie. And I was like, I got 13 Ghosts on DVD. Let's put that bitch in. Maybe we'll put the commentary on. Maybe we won't. I wish I would have put the commentary on because that shit was, I won't say trash, but not for me anymore.
That boy is growing.
Growing before
What's
its eyes.
a good scary movie right now that's out? Like, what's a good one?
I hear a
I
lot
like
about
yours
that
and John's.
Annabelle movie, that movie line, and like The Conjuring and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a weird thing about watching demon movies.
Yeah, that's mainly why I can't hear, because that's my wife. She won't watch, like, she's down for scary movies, and we hardly ever watch scary movies because I can watch all that shit. But the demon stuff, I kind of don't dig either, because I feel like you're really acting on some shit, possibly.
Well, I
And
feel
that's-
like it's like you're opening a portal in your
That's
house.
exactly what my wife says. That's why we don't get to watch. I don't get to watch any of those kind of crazy movies because like she won't. And
Yeah.
who else am I gonna watch? I mean, I could watch it by myself.
I
but-
feel like that goes hand in hand after you watch a movie like that, when it goes off and you feel a weird presence in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel a little odd all night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lock the door to your bedroom when you go to bed
Yeah.
in your own
I'm
home.
thinking about it maybe like the next night. Like it's just something that sits with you for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Man, it's pretty.
I went out on a limb because I haven't watched them in a while either. I used to love them as a younger kid. 'Cause I probably mainly because my mom hated them and was talking about don't bring shit like that in here. You
Yeah.
know, I think that was at the root of it. But I watched them for years, and then the other night I just had the wild hair, and I picked out this slasher film about this killer clown, and I watched it all the way through, and that shit has hung with me for a couple months now. I still
Wow.
see that character in my head, and it's just like, why the fuck do I do that to myself?
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
It's
Is that what the Annabelle movie's about? Or were you
No,
gonna
that's
say?
about a doll.
So is that the one you're saying? You think? What have you seen? What's the last movie you've seen that's like? Ooh, that was.
That was scary?
Scary, like 'cause, you know, kind of dumb. Something starting to get dumb.
I know for sure what mine is, man. It was this movie called Hereditary.
oh, I've heard of that.
It was
Is it
it was
crazy?
dope, man.
Was it
Okay.
demony or?
Yes,
Damn,
very
see?
much so.
Can't watch it.
Very, but see that the demony stuff doesn't really happen till towards the end of the film, and it's the most one of the
He's like, I'm out still, man.
bro.
I said
I'm
that I
telling
don't
you
want
what,
to. It's that I
you almost have
get
to.
out of my house. She won't let. That's one thing. She's like.
Well, go watch it in your car or something.
No,
'Cause
I can watch it in the house.
you
but I'm
gotta
saying-
watch.
You don't want to open them portals up. I
No.
don't blame you, man.
I don't really.
Dude, I'm telling you
I
what,
believe
man.
in all that spirit shit to a degree. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking find out it's real by doing that shit.
Yeah. And the end of this movie is the most bizarre ending to a movie I've ever seen, hands down.
Is it old?
No, it's a
not
couple
old?
years old.
So you can spoil it.
Is
Yeah,
it like
I'm not gonna
Exorcist
watch it.
level, like that kind of level stuff? You know,
Well-
the horror classic?
Yeah, I've actually never watched The Exorcist.
What?
I've never pulled the trigger on it. I watched it. Before I watched that, I watched
Another
this.
one with demons, Jay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I've seen Exorcist.
Okay.
I have.
I watched the documentary before I watched The Exorcist on all the stuff that happened to the film crew and the cast after they filmed the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I'm
What
not
happened?
watching it.
What happened?
A lot of people committing suicide and
Getting
Really?
disease.
Of The Exorcist?
yeah,
Whoa.
All kinds of shit.
all kinds of bad stuff.
Fuck, I did not know that. Damn, that's
Yeah,
dude. There's something to that shit.
and like
What's the chances?
they really made that little girl like not actually masturbate with that crucifix, but like made her like rub it on herself, and she was like,
Oh,
I don't even know
shit.
what I don't even know what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of weird shit in that movie. So I was like, fuck that.
Do you think there's like subliminal messaging and programming through movies?
For
Like,
sure.
You know, like there's an intent behind this. It's not on accident. Like they're
Right,
intentionally
separate levels, you
trying to
mean?
put something in here.
Separate levels of stuff, like talking to you in the movie. Like,
Yeah, like there's-
I'm giving you dialogue, but there's something else coming through.
exactly.
Yeah.
That or just imaging and background on your subconscious is picking up, but
Yeah.
storing. Like y'all think that's legit.
I think so.
I mean, it's kind of proven to some degree, but like I wonder sometimes if that's like totally intentional. Like, what are they doing now that we're missing that they're gonna pick up in
Well,
20 years? you
they've
know?
been doing it with product placement forever.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So we know that we got some through that
Mhm.
that were intentional.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, that works on me.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like highly influenced by stuff, but for instance, like Stranger Things, right? Do you watch that?
Yeah,
So 11 is eating this box of Eggos.
yeah.
I've never wanted some Eggos so bad in my entire life.
Yeah. Damn, dude, it's crazy that the chords they play on in our brain with that. Like, that's why, like, that demon shit and stuff, like, really, their intentions are to, like, get in your mind. I mean, there's got to be some twisted ones out there, too, that's trying to get in your mind
I would
and
imagine.
lock you out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, if you believe it, and I've heard Travis make claims on here about your outlook or your faith or lack thereof
Yeah.
in
Well, I mean,
anything supernatural. But if you believe in any traditional sense, there is a war of angels and demons going on around us at all times.
yeah.
So surely you can let in some of them, you know,
yeah.
and they'll try
There's
to get
negative
in.
as there's positive, you know? That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I look. I believe in all that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
I tweak it in ways that my mind can process it. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, that's why I wouldn't be skeptical about demon movies if I just thought all that shit was fake.
Right, you just
You
be
know,
like, let me
nah,
see it.
Exactly. I wouldn't give a fuck. I mean, I care. Like, I watched it and will watch it, but like, I don't, you know, when they really get to you, like we said, the 3 day thinking about it that night, locking your door, having a dream about it, that's too much for me. I don't want that.
Well, that's why the slasher films don't affect me at all. Like
Right.
watching like Jason or Freddy Krueger or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, that's good
nothing.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Right.
It's like practical, or it's just like simple, scary.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and they fall, and it gives you a little bit of anxiety, and you're pissed off at the same time because you're like, get up and run, you know?
Yeah. But I think that's what it relates back to what you're saying about, like, if I knew that this wasn't like something that could actually be, you know, it's not that bad. Like, you know, you gotta worry about Michael Myers coming after you.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
I'll burn them.
demons up in this bitch, probably
Yeah,
happening,
exactly.
probably around us right now.
Yeah.
I feel,
Yeah, but
100%.
that's what I think people see when they see ghosts. I think they're seeing a glimpse of that parallel universe of the angels and demons that are around you at all
Parallel
times.
universe. That's an interesting topic too.
I think
All
that's
that stuff.
100%. The more so that we've been talking here lately,
Yeah.
like, I think it's a 100% thing.
Mm.
I think there's like
More than one. Yeah.
yeah, I think there's just several
Similar versions of us
running at the same time.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't even be surprised, man, if you are not constantly jumping timeline to timeline.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what that whole.
You ever play
thing
like
is about.
a video game where you make choices, or you read one of those books where like it's like you make a choice and you're like, turn to page 74 to continue your journey.
Yeah.
Anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's what life might be.
Choose your own adventure.
Are you talking about like
Yeah.
alternate endings and stuff?
No, like choose your own storyline. Like no, I'm saying like so
Yeah.
for instance, before we
GTA.
came here tonight,
Yeah.
okay, you had the option to either come to the podcast or not come. You chose to come, so now you're on to this storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you leave here tonight, you can either stay here at Jay's house or you can leave. Boom, you're onto this storyline.
Yeah.
I think it's that, but you're making choices all day long.
Because had he said no, there'd been a complete different storyline.
Exactly.
That took that neither one of us had known anything about.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that also influences you.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, but you make choices every day, all day. So I think you're constantly moving universe to universe to universe
Of
without
different,
even knowing it.
of different ways it could have went.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dude, I would not. You know, I wouldn't be. So, I mean,
Even driving down the road, you just turn around and start driving the other way.
Yeah, and somebody might have that's in a similar
Yeah.
universe to us, but we stay
I think
straight.
that's why you lose contact with people is because their storylines start going in different directions than yours.
Yeah.
And eventually y'all start making choices again together that might
Yeah.
intertwine those storylines again, and then they'll just fizzle back out.
Yeah, because the only reason you're around certain people is the choices you made that collectively have got y'all there.
Right.
Fuck.
That's pretty deep too.
It is.
Like what is that pull that is
Yeah,
pulling
what's
us all in those directions?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it free will or is there half and half? Is it predetermined acts of randomness?
And we are out.
Hey. What would a good way to end it? But we can keep rolling. I feel we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I like this. What were you going?
Well, I was thinking like if you look at like a DNA molecule, how it's
Yeah.
kind of like intertwined like that. That could almost be how that timeline is working, all the way down to even the molecules that make up your existence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like one big strand.
Right.
Crazy, dude.
Happening all the time simultaneously.
Yeah. That's like the Mandela effect, ain't it? Ain't that what the Mandela effect talks about?
Yeah.
Is a different. I think
Go
we've
ahead.
discussed this before.
Patterns.
Yeah, like things have changed. Like the Chili Peppers, people think their album, like they're so, I don't know if this is, and this is totally subjective because it's about music and what people are saying, but like, we remember the Chili Peppers now as being great. Like, you know, they hold their place in time of something great they did, but like, they're saying we remember their like greatest album as great when you go back to their albums now and you listen to them, which I guess a lot of us don't, is actually crappy. The music's not good. It's just like one or two songs.
I think a better...
That's a bad example.
It is a bad example, but I think a better one is like the Berenstein Bears or the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah, that and like the guy on the Monopoly board.
With the monocle. Some people remember him having a monocle. Some people don't remember him having a monocle.
Oh, this is different from what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I thought that the mandala effect was like it repeats patterns over and over, like nature, like
that's
trees,
the
leaves.
Fibonacci sequence.
Oh yes,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
that's right.
Yo, talk about that because I've heard that mentioned the other day actually on a podcast and I didn't know what they were talking about.
Like Tool wrote a song with the numbers of the sequence, and that's pretty cool. I forget which track it is, but
I think it's called the Fibonacci or something like that.
the name of the song.
I think so.
Y'all can check us out there.
So the Fibonacci sequence is like a mathematical equation that repeats itself in nature. Like the human face is actually numbers, and it's an equation that you can add up and get some like a total. But that also is in butterfly